Tell us who you are, what you do, and things of that nature.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for letting me have this opportunity to come here and speak to you. My name is Clint Wayne Brown. I was born and raised here in Galveston County, lived here all my life, graduated from O'Connell High School, then went off to Sam Houston State. Worked with my dad in the construction industry for several years, and then after he got sick, had his heart attack, I decided to put my education to work. Started with the county about 20 years ago, working as the county's risk manager, safety director, handled all the county's insurance, all the properties we had, all the fleet accidents, all that went through me. But then I moved over a few years later over to the Justice Administration Department and handled all the DWI compliances. So if you were a person that got charged with DWI, I was one to make sure that you had the Start Smart on your car. We made sure that you were in compliance with court orders. Then I had a chance to run for constable for Precinct 1. I ran against a gentleman who had been in office for 12 years. And had beat this gentleman. He's a very nice individual. He followed in the footsteps of the old Sam Popovich. The bottom line is, folks, Mr. Fullen and I didn't ask for this. We didn't ask to have to run against each other. Neither one of us agree with it, but no matter what, it's here. We have to accept it. My opponent is a very fine gentleman. I've known his family for years, and we're both of the same fiber. We want to work for you. We want to do our best job. You know, I believe in this in the office. Every day that I get up and I put on my boots and go to work, I look forward to it. I enjoy what I do because I work for you, the people of Galveston County. This office doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you. I am merely the key holder of this office, and I want to continue to serve, and I want to continue to make you proud of what you have here. We appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to, if you don't mind, real quick, my staff is Donna Moore and R.J. Vanda, and I have one more, Jamie Walker. I could not do this job without them. They are the heartbeat of the operation there. They're there. They're on the front lines every day. I appreciate your support.
And before I introduce myself, I'd like to echo what Constable Brown said. It's definitely not our fault. That was a decision made higher than our pay grade. Unfortunately, we do have to deal with it, and we have to run against one another. For those that don't know me, my name is Jimmy Fullen, born and raised here on Galveston Island, was educated here on the island. I'm a widower, have 3 kids, 3 grandkids, 27 years of law enforcement experience, 25 of that spent here. 14 with Galveston ISD, 2 years as police chief, worked for the city of Texas City, at which point I ran for constable, was elected, took office in 2009, been there ever since, ran a second time in 2012, was successful in that one, and here we are again. In this round, I've gone out, and obviously I think I'm doing a great job. I've got 9 police chief endorsements as of right now. I've got 6 of 8 police association endorsements so far. I've got 5 of the 8 mayors within our precinct, Precinct 2, and 2 county elected officials that have come out and endorsed me, and 2 former sheriffs that have endorsed me. I say that to say this. I am out there, as you see, I'm dressed in uniform, and almost every time you see me, I'm in this uniform. Rarely do you see me out of it. If you do, I'm in a pair of overalls. I go out and we do our job, and we do our job effectively. And hands down, and no offense to any other constable or deputy constable, I think I have one of the best staffs in the county. I walk into that office, there's never a full rack of papers. That rack is empty. They're constantly being moved. I know R.J. Vanda very well. I know R.J. gets out there and moves papers. But again, I have to praise my staff. Commissioner Joe Juicy was my chief deputy. They got out there and they moved those papers. If re-elected, I will continue doing our service out there. You're going to see us out there in uniform, highly present. And anyway, looking forward to the election. Thank you.
To get the wheels in motion, a lot of our members would really like to understand the roles and priorities of a constable. And I'll start off with Wayne on this one.
Well, the primary function of the constable's office is to back up and support the JP. When the papers come to that office, that is our job, is get out there and serve. It's from child support to eviction notices to CPS cases that we have to serve on, protect order. That is our job, is to be there for the JP and to get those papers served.
Doug? real simple. I mean, we get to ask that question all the time. What does a constable do? We're one of only 4 states that actually have a constable. We are the civil branch of law enforcement. We have constitutional duties that are assigned to us. You know, like Wayne said, our primary function is to the JP courts, to any other court, whether in-state or out-of-state, that issues civil papers that need to be served. With something I was just explaining to Ms. Sasser earlier. There's a lot of times when, on the weekends, when we get civil standbys, like 6 o'clock p.m. on Friday night, when dad or mom comes to pick up the child and the other one says, no, you ain't picking up the child. Local law enforcement are not regularly trained to deal with those issues, so the constables get called after hours. What do? You know, well, I mean, so we have to referee those kind of things. And then again on Sunday evening, we have to do the same thing when the child's supposed to be brought back and it's not. So anyway, like the constable said, we're strictly dealing with the courts. We're the civil branch of law enforcement, but we do have criminal law enforcement powers. Yes, sir.
Next question is from one of our board members, and that is, how are you connected and how are you affiliated with the different organizations in this county? And I'm going to start off with Jimmy on this one.
Okay. Okay, affiliations. In addition to my 50-plus hours that I put in as constable's office, I'm also extremely involved in the community. I am a board member of the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce. We just took over as president of the Hitchcock Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member in good standing with the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce, Galveston Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm also vice president of the Hitchcock ISD and the Santa Fe, Texas ISD Education Foundation. Member in good standing with the Galveston Association of Realtors. Trying to think, and I'm current president, which we haven't been very active with the Galveston County Justice of the Peace and Constables Association. The reason I'm involved in these things is it's simple. It's crime prevention through involvement. You know, we don't have the manpower, our constables office don't have the manpower or the resources to go out there and effectively patrol neighborhoods and do everything that a normal police agency does. However, if you're involved in your Chamber of Commerce, if you're bringing businesses into your communities, that alone, your schools, that reduces crime. That brings in quality education, that brings in families, that brings in jobs, reducing crime.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Feel free to, come on guys, this is That's a tough act to follow. He's a member of a lot of associations, and I think we're probably about the same in that territory. I'm a member of the Elks, the Kiwanis Club. I'm also a proud member of the Navy Reserve, still stationed in San Diego and Ellington Field, 21 years almost. Get ready to drop my papers. I'm a member of the Fraternal Order of Police of Houston, the lodge number 39, Galveston Chamber, Hitchcock Chamber, Santa Fe Chamber, and I believe Lamarck Chamber. Yes, I am Lamarck Chamber. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of them I'm a member of, but these are ways that I can tap in to find out what we need to do in the office. If I'm a member of these organizations, I get to see these people on a regular basis, and I can learn from them and find out what they need. That's how it makes our office so effective. But we are able to reach out and get the people we need to know and find out what's going on in our community. We love being there for you.
Thank you. Next question. I'm sorry, Fred, no question from the floor. That was part of the form. But no, we are not going to take any questions. I do want to encourage you after this to get with the candidates and ask them that personal question. But that was what we agreed on. We're going to stick with that format. Now let's kind of gauge your emotional temperament here. How do you feel about the merging of the offices there? Why don't you talk about that?
It's okay. No swearing.
I've never been accused of being politically correct. It's the most asinine decision I've ever seen in my life. Period.
Same question. I just think it's wrong, and you know, these guys are in charge up there running the county. They made that decision. They made it their own. I don't agree with it, or it doesn't like me to fix it. All I have to do now is just deal the hand that I've been given and do the best I can with what the tools they've given us. It's not very favorable. I don't agree with it, but I cannot, and I was not a part of that decision.
You know, one of the things that has I think electrified a lot of people is sanctuary city debate. And I know that's not something you can vote on or have an impact in, but that's something that you have an opinion about. So I'd like to address that right now. What do you do when you run across illegal aliens, and what's your feelings? Let's start with Clint on this one.
Well, first of all, I really haven't run across any of them. I do have some friends with Customs and INS, and I've made a few calls about some of the issues that are down there, but personally, I've just never really run across any of them down here. I know that we have them, and if the Sheriff's Department does a good job of handling and get them processed and pushed back where they need to be.
Why don't you address it? How do you personally feel about the idea of the sanctuary city?
I'm just, I'm really not in favor of it. I don't think. If you're in this country illegally, you really shouldn't be here. That's just my personal belief.
Back in the mid-'80s, when I started my law enforcement career, it was a big deal. If you made a traffic stop and you stopped a person that you thought was illegal, it was a big deal. I mean, you called immigration, they would hold that person, come get that person. Nowadays, and by all means, feel free to go back and talk to Sheriff Processor. You grab somebody who is undocumented, will be politically correct. Undocumented, you bring them to the sheriff's office. There's nothing you can do to them because INS is not going to put a hold on them. Once you do the processing, then the sheriff kicks them out the door. I mean, unfortunately, now sanctuary cities. I look at it this way: my ancestors worked their behinds off to make it better for me, so I could be where I am today. So if you're here illegally, you need to be deported, kicked out of this country. Bottom line.
Okay, thank you very much. What we're going to do is one more question, and then we're going to give you 2 minutes to close it out. Okay, guys? How's that sound? All right. What I'm going to talk about now is what do you enjoy most about your role? And secondly, where do you see yourself in the future as far as your ambitions go? Let's start with...
I can tell you this, all the years I've been in law enforcement, 27 years, the last 6.5 being the constable, I realized real quick that you have a lot of influence on a lot of things that go on in your precinct. That's why I'm involved with these chambers, I'm involved with these education foundations, because not saying it's a coercion of any kind, but for some reason, when you're in our capacity, people tend to listen to you. Don't know why, but they do. And you get a lot of things done. Where do I see myself in the next 20 years? I don't want to be greedy. By no means do I want to stay in office another 30 years, but I definitely plan on staying in this office another 20. Great.
Same question for Clint.
I just see the office working as hard as the staff and us doing our job that we're supposed to be doing. They'll ask us to go out there and do this job, serve these papers, and serve this community. And I know it's going to be hard when we merge the two precincts together. The only thing I can do about that is to get out there and do our very best to join the groups together. I can't fix anything in Santa Fe or Kiki Island if we don't hear from you and talk to you directly. This office, again, is not about me or the staff. It's about you. We work for you, and we're going to continue to do that.
It's going to be a tough election, but at the same time, I want you to know I really appreciate you guys coming in here, but I do want you to close it out for us. So let us know why you think you're the best man for the job. And I'm going to start with Clint on this one.
2 minutes. Well, once again, I've served 20 years in the military, 20-something years with the county, and I love doing what I do every day. I get up and I look forward to going to work. I look forward to serving the public. I've been very blessed. I've got 5 sisters. My mom and dad have been married for 66 years. My dad brought us up this way. Son, if you're ever going to do a job, you owe that man an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. That's the way we were brought up. We lived in a 3-bedroom house, 1-bath house in Lamar. My parents have been married for 66 years, and I asked my dad a couple of years ago, what do you want for your next anniversary? And he looked at me and said, son, all I want is 60 more years of your mama. So you know what, my dad raised us right, and we're working hard for you, and I'm going to do the best job that I can. Look forward to counting on your vote.
All right. Again, 27 years law enforcement, 25 here in Galveston. I am very connected to this island, very connected to this precinct that I serve, both on the island and on the mainland. Born and raised here, one of 10 kids. parents still live here. My kids were raised in Santa Fe for the most part, educated and graduated there. Basically, I run my office and I run my personal life on some real simple principles. A belief in God. You got to have God in your life. If you don't, you're not. Family, most important thing in the world behind God. He's the one that gave you that family. Cherish it. Trust me, I know. The next is your community. Be connected to your community. Get involved in your community. Protect your community. And last but not least, defend your constitutional rights. And that's what we do as law enforcement. We're out there protecting your constitutional rights. If you choose to re-elect me as your constable for Precinct 2, I guarantee you, I will remain committed to God, family, community, and protecting your constitutional freedom. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you very much, men. In fact, you can be seated. That's great. Thank you.